Dem areas, Labour areas, the response is the same. And that, I think, is the fascination of UKIP, is we're drawing our vote from across the board. We're also getting people supporting us who haven't voted for anybody for 20 years, or in some cases, haven't ever voted in their life. I think it's happening because people look at a political class in Westminster. We've got three parties, three party leaders, three front benches. They all come from the same background. They all go to the same schools. They all go to the same Oxford colleges. They all then go straight into research offices, become members of Parliament, aged 27, 28, ministers by the time they're 40. None of them have ever had a job or lived and worked in the real world, and they're completely disconnected from the thoughts, hopes and aspirations of ordinary families. And I think what we do as a party is we're unafraid to take on issues. Some people call me populist, but I can tell you, when I started talking about the EU and the fact that it wasn't going to be good for this country, it wasn't populist, it was a minority sport. You know, we were written off and we've been called cranks and eccentrics and nuts, but 2/3 of Britain now wants us to be out of political union and let them have a relationship with Europe that is based on trade and cooperation. Common sense. The immigration situation. You know, we used to have 30 to 50,000 people who used to settle in Britain every year. It was a number we could manage. Over the last 10 years, it's averaged 500,000 people a year. And going around, the number of young people I've met, and goodness knows it upsets me, to hear our politicians, Boris Johnson did it the other day, Blair always did it, they say all our youngsters are lazy and useless, and that's why we need mass immigration. I tell you what, we may have some useless young people, but we've got a huge number of young people who are now being discriminated against in the workplace in their own country, and we're the only party with the guts to stand up for them. It's not acceptable, and I think one of the things we can do, given that county councils have to provide services, is to point out that if the population keeps exploding as a direct result of Eastern European immigration, that impacts on every county council in the country, and we want to send a big message out from May the 2nd, which is we've got to stop the door being opened to the whole of Romania and Bulgaria in January 1st. This is not fair or right to our own people. Now, I'm not against these people at all. If I was a young Bulgarian, I'd be packing my suitcase now because life is better in Britain. But it's about time we started putting the interests of our own people first. I want UKIP county councillors, and having been up and down the country, I'm optimistic we are going to win seats. I want UKIP county councillors to get into county halls and to try and do the same thing that I've done in Brussels and Strasbourg over the last 13 years. No, that doesn't mean be rude to everybody. But what it does mean is let's start exposing how much the top people are being paid, how much money is being wasted on interpretation services, how much is being spent on climate change officers and a whole host of non-jobs. And I want every UKIP councillor up and down the country to campaign hard against these ugly, useless, expensive, frankly disgusting wind turbines that are going up and despoiling our country, our landscape and our seascape. And it's not a battle about whether the turbines are on site A or site B. We will unequivocally oppose them being built at all because they don't work. You know, we have to accept ugly things in the name of progress. Motorways are ugly, airports are ugly, but at least they're functional. Wind turbines don't work, and we're heading for power blackouts in 2015. I am cautiously optimistic about how we're going to do. We're going to get a big share of the vote. Just how many seats we win under first past the post, I don't know. But I do feel something is really shifting and changing in this country. People are looking for a positive alternative, and I believe UKIP's doing that. So thank you very much for having me this morning on this whistle-stop tour. Great to meet you.